Okay, Manny. Who are we probing today? Oh, come on, Manny. You said I could probe somebody.
Hey, this is UFO Buster Radio, and I am Manny Moonraker, and this is episode number 83. And so I'm here with you today to talk about a UFO report, a news report that's coming from places that don't give people a rash when it comes to UFOs. Because, you know, as of late, if you mention the UK Sun or the Daily Mail, whatever, wipe your butt with it, newspaper, people get a bit of a rash and start talking shit. And I'm not in the mood for that kind of stuff, and neither are you. But before we get into that, let me just remind you that you can find UFO Buster Radio on social media at Facebook, the Facebook page Manny Moonraker, Facebook page UFO Buster Radio, and don't forget to visit the group that keeps growing every week. It is the UBR Truth Seekers on Facebook. Get in there and get ready, get wild. Talk about your UFO phenomena theories, your ideas, what you agree with, what you don't, what you want to curse somebody else about. Because the fact is that they don't give two shits in there either. They say whatever the hell they want. So, you know, fuck you, your mom is that, your dada is another. They really don't care. But the whole thing is that you talk about it openly and no one really, shits on anybody else's ideas. They just give their own, whether or not other people like it. And that's the way it should be, right? No hard feelings. Nobody gets mad. People get as crazy as they want to be. And that's what a UFO forum should be about. Just talk about the shit openly. Don't give two fucks about what anybody else wants to push on you. You just go about your business. No fucks given. Anyway, before I finish, because I did say social media, also on Twitter at UFO Buster Radio and Manny Moonraker on Instagram. And by the way, I thank everyone that's following me on Instagram. I finally passed 1,000 followers on Instagram, but I could use a few thousand more. So if you use Instagram, go ahead and follow me at Manny Moonraker. I don't post every day, but sometimes I get the spirit of the grays and I start posting a bunch of shit that you guys might find funny, or I might follow you and comment on it. Let you know what I think about the wild stuff you're posting, Instagram model. Anyway, the first story is coming from the north. And let me tell you, when I first started doing all this UFO phenomena craziness, I really thought, and just follow me with this, just come with me, just take a moment. I really thought that all the UFO reports were predominantly in the south. And, it's because I think about abductions, I think about cattle mutilation. That's what I used to really associate UFO phenomena with. That's not going to happen in the big city. You're not going to see in the middle of Chicago somebody finding dead cattle that was mutilated in the streets of Chicago. It's just not going to happen. But it turns out that the north, especially the northeast, seems to have more UFO reports than the rest of the country for some reason. This news article actually comes from the New York Post. Hint, hint, people who hate the UK Daily News or the Sun, whatever the fuck it's named. This is coming from the New York Post, and basically the article is talking about the amount of sightings that have happened in New York City over the last 2 years. A total of 85 UFO sightings in New York City in 2 years, and they kind of did a little comparison of the 5 boroughs of New York. And basically, New York City, or what people call the borough of Manhattan, which is the island, came out as number one, the number one borough in New York City with the most sightings. And these are not just everyday sightings. This isn't some little silver ship you see in the sky or something just zooms right by, so you assume it's a UFO because it made no sound. There was little beams coming out of it, something like that, something simple. But basically, no, these are a bit more intricate, a bit more detailed in their sightings. The article is linked in the description, and so you can go in there and read the whole article, and you can see what some of the other boroughs in that New York area, what they ranked as far as sightings. But like I said, the island of Manhattan is number 1 with a total of 27 out of the 85. So some of the things that people have reported, because some are saying, according to this article, that Manhattan has gone from Studio 54 to Area 51. And see, here's some of the things that they reported. So one tourist, here's a tourist, not a regular New York City person. So they probably came from the South somewhere and they had their own experience, but decided to see what the big city had to offer. A tourist reported a round orange orb. Another individual reported a crew in a cigar-shaped craft. And then another one reported an unknown creature that rudely teleported into one of New York's backyards, according to a report that was made by a Washington-based group. Listen, if I just come up on someone and they teleport out of there, I don't think that's rude, because imagine if they stayed. Imagine, if you will, that entity decided to stay there because you saw them. What do you think is going to happen next? I don't think it's going to be pretty. You might go missing for a few days, and you might not be able to sit for a long time. So I would not say that was rude. I think that person or that thing was basically being benevolent and not probing you for a few days. Now, so those reports actually came all from tourists. Now, according to one actually native of Manhattan, this individual says, and I quote, "It was rotating like a drill as it was almost moving off axis and in the line towards the east. They also explained as it rotated, you would be able to see 4 lights that would only be on one side and seen after a full rotation." They claimed that this object that they're describing was hundreds of feet long. And then he says, after a while, 4 other smaller crafts appeared that were to this person to appear more to be like a saucer or spherical. And they according to him, it says they blipped in and out. So he figured it's probably blinking in and out. You know, some people might say it was interdimensional or some crazy thing like that. But anyway, that's what he's reporting. So let me tell you, New York City is a happening place. It's not just for, musicals, skyscrapers, and all kind of things that happen in the train system. But apparently it's for UFOs as well. Now, that has always been one of my curiosities. Again, this is why I always leaned towards the South rather than the North, because towards the South, you have people who constantly are reporting having these experiences, seeing ET, seeing ships, all that kind of stuff. But they do it openly. In New York City is not so much, especially up there towards the north. You really don't have that too much. You don't have someone coming out of the woodwork, once or twice a week stating that they had an experience. They saw something that was out of this world. But we're missing the boat on there, at least I am, because apparently that is the case, and New York City is a happening place. Now, there's a lot of lights in New York City. I grew up in the area as a kid, so I know that the city really never sleeps. So you can have all kinds of crazy effects if a fog rolls in and you have the Manhattan lights just blinging away, because there's lights everywhere. There's all kind of things going on, all kind of like multimedia stuff being shown to people in public that could have a weird effect when you have fog or low clouds. So it remains to be seen whether ET will crash New York City one night on a bender and decide that this is where they're going to show their ass. But like I said, check out the article. It's in the description. Click on it, visit, read. I mean, it's not the Sun. It's the New York Post. How could you go wrong?
You're listening to UFO Buster Radio, and I have a question for you. Do you like to go fishing, or do you want to learn how to fish? Well, I have the answer for you. Whether you're an avid angler or just starting out, Angling Waters Outdoors is the place to learn and advance your fishing skills. I'll be your guide, Marty Angler. And I'm not just a bass fishing tournament angler, but I also like to fish for other species as well. I'll help guide you through the different methods and baits to help you catch more fish all year long. So catch me at Angling Waters Outdoors here on Spreaker. Now back to UFO Buster Radio and my friend Manny Moonraker.
Okay, so this next piece is not necessarily a news article. It's more about Tom DeLonge. I mean, I can't. This guy just drives me bananas. Somebody has got to stop the puppet show. And whoever really is doing the stuff that they're saying is happening at To the Stars needs to come forward and talk about it. So anyway, I can't really do this report without really reading what he posted back in, it was like early December or something like that. I got the link to the tweet. So if you're on Twitter and you always wanted to follow Tom, this will take you straight to his tweet. And you can follow him, see what kind of zany shit he comes up with. But here's what the tweet said. It said, what do you get when you zap a layered piece of bismuth and magnesium with terahertz of energy? So the answer to that, of course, is dissolution of mass, or at least the effect of which we are working on an experiment for you all. And then he put a hashtag kind of like anti-gravity. Tom DeLonge could not even hold a conversation with Joe Rogan on a podcast. How the fuck am I supposed to believe that he even knows what the hell he just wrote in his tweet? Even in the freaking news conference he had for 2 to Stars Academy, when he showed all these guys, he brought all these dudes out, which pretty much are the ones who have their hands up his ass. He couldn't explain any of it. He could barely make that presentation work. You think that I'm going to believe that he even knows the first thing about what the fuck he just typed in that Twitter? No, I don't. And I don't believe anybody else does anyway, so eventually I almost see him just falling to the wayside. And he can go play his drums somewhere. I don't know what he does anymore. But anyway, it's pretty funny. The link to that tweet is in the description if you guys want to check it out, because I think Tom is 4.2 far. He really is. And the future of ufology is weak and dying. The dark side is taking over. This is episode 83. I'm checking out. I'll be back on Thursday. And hopefully we have like more stories. Everybody out there is still talking about the Pentagon stuff. And actually, it looks like there's only one article out there that's actually claiming that it really looks like the Pentagon situation is about to fade away. And there's no real shred of evidence of actual UFOs. And there's more doubt growing every day. So we'll see where we get to in this story by next week. But until then, we'll talk some more shit about ufology because that's the way you guys like it. That's what I enjoy doing, so fuck it, let's just talk shit. This is Manny Moonraker. Check it out. Sayonara. Ciao. Peace. Bye.